different artists. I have a background in marketing and brand, and so I like to infuse that into a lot of the work that I do, specifically with my artists. But yeah, so before that, I was a model. I did a lot of just like smaller stuff around town. And one day, a friend of mine who's a photographer asked if I would like to style. He liked my personal style, a shoot he had coming up. I was 18 and I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, I love fashion, I love photography, I love, that's those types of things. So I worked with him a couple of times and it kind of just became this living, breathing beast. And it definitely kind of changed the trajectory of where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be a model and like be on the cover of GQ. But kind of took a different turn and I thoroughly enjoyed being able to have a hand in creating the image that was being created. And so did that. Like I said, I moved here in 2017 to kind of take my career to the next level. Since moving to Nashville, I've been able to work with everyone from Sony and Warner Brothers and Curve Records to different production companies, here from commercial work to products and e-commerce. It's one of the reasons why I love Nashville so much is because it really has the gambit of, styling for me. I get to do things from like red carpet all the way to just like e-commerce and product shoots. So it's been a wild ride, especially 2020, as I think we all can attest to. But it's been also really, really great to be surrounded by creatives that like support each other. I think that's one of the main reasons why I love Nashville so much. It's very collaborative. It's very uh, I think people really champion each other well. I don't think that you find that as much in some of the other major markets. And so, yeah, I really, really have enjoyed my time here. And um, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some of the projects that I've been working on lately, and just kind of like the process that I have. So I wanted to talk about three different projects: one commercial, one artist, and then one editorial. So the commercial work I've been doing a lot lately has looked very, very different because of COVID. Um, the shoot that actually Linda and I worked on is for a company called Brookdale. They're a retirement home, and it's been really great because we've been able to prove to the client, because before these projects, I actually wasn't on the project because they would just use people in-house in the retirement homes and just create content from what they were wearing. And in the last year, they brought me on because we couldn't actually be in the retirement homes, and we had to create all these scenarios outside of those retirement homes. And so they brought me in because I worked with them quite a bit, and I thoroughly have enjoyed it because I've been able to see the quality of work that they had previously, and then being able to kind of elevate that to another level when we kind of like were able to take control. My process with that is I send out an extremely like detailed email with photos and things like that, just to make sure, because again, with COVID times, we're trying to strive to use people's wardrobe itself and then kind of give them ideas. And so that's been a really interesting project, especially because of everything going on right now. But it's also been really, really great to see how productions have kind of shifted and changed in the climate of where we are right now. The next project I wanted to talk about is an artist client of mine who actually just recently was nominated for a Grammy. And this is kind of my favorite projects to work on, because I feel like I'm able to use a lot of my creativity as well as like my brand and marketing background. when I meet with an artist, I sit down with them. We talk through, what are your goals stylistically? Who are your icons when you think of like, oh, this is where I want to be. This is the style that I want to achieve, or at least in this world. Whether that's two people combined, or whether that's um, an artist of the past. I really kind of dive deep into like where they are currently, and then where I can take them. Because I feel like a lot of times within artists, they so focus on like how does the music sound and all of that. And I think that especially nowadays with social media and the amount of singles and things like that that are produced, image is also very, very important. And so I've been able to come alongside and build an entire kind of uh, capsule wardrobe for my clients, where they know that A plus B always will equal C. And so it's been really, really awesome to come alongside that whole process and help them develop whatever that specific style. I love to listen to their music before meeting them, so I can at least get some idea of like, do they tend to go on the more rocker side of things? Do they tend to go more on the country side of things? Are they more inspired by R&B or pop? And so that helps me kind of uh, direct and move the conversation into like, this is kind of what I felt from your music, and this is how I feel like it could align to what you're saying. And so those are some of my favorite projects I've been able to work on since moving here, because I think for me, image is extremely important. Obviously, it's my full-time job, but I think it's also, I've been able to work with a lot of up and coming artists who haven't really thought of that, and so being able to speak into that and see the impact that I have had on their career has been really fulfilling. And then the third is editorial, and this has actually been a bucket list for me. But recently, um, my entire kind of like love for fashion, I always say, sparked from GQ. And so when I was younger, you know how every time you're in the checkout line, your parents are always like, oh, grab a piece of candy or grab something like this. And I remember clear as day, one time my mom said, oh, grab what you want. And I grabbed the GQ magazine. I was probably 12. I was like, this is what I want. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, this is, I don't know. There's something about this I want. And I just remember like flipping through those pages and seeing all the suits and things like that. And like being like, man, I want to, at first I was like, man, I want to be those people. And then I did that for a while, and then realizing, man, I actually want not to be those people, but I want to style those people. And so at the beginning of this year, I actually was asked to style a section in GQ that is coming out in 3 weeks. So in the April edition of GQ, which you can pick up on any newsstand, you will see my name in the Mookie Betts spread. So I was really, really excited to do that. I think it's been, like I said, the move to Nashville has been such a beautiful thing, because I think that it pushed me outside of my comfort zone, and it forced me to see what I was doing differently. Because at that point, before moving here, I really focused on menswear, and I kind of wanted to make my niche menswear. But then my agent was like, I think that your men's book is extremely strong, but I think in Nashville, it's very difficult to just sell you as a menswear stylist. And so the entire 3 years I've been developing my women's wear book, and I'm actually really, really proud of it. I was actually able to dress one of my clients for the Grammys, which was like really, really great. I dressed her husband, and their 2 kids. And just to see like me not really ever wanting to like, not dress, I didn't want to dress women, I just wasn't as comfortable with it, to the development that I've seen in Nashville, where I love it. It's actually been one of the sides of my business that's grown exponentially. And so, yeah, and one of the things that really excited me when Linda and I were talking is the one aspect in my entire career that I have not been able to develop is film and television. I've done everything from runway to editorials to commercial work to music videos and things like that. But film and television is actually one aspect of my career that I've never been able to dive into. And it's not that I don't want to, because I actually really love the idea of creating characters and diving into a script and like figuring that out. But I just haven't had the opportunity. So I really wanted to meet you guys, and if you guys ever have a need for a stylist, yeah. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit of kind of my process. Like I said, a lot of things that I do, I go back to the marketing and brand side of things, where it's how can we bring a unique value to not only the market, but as specifically the artists, and that character of like who they are and how they're portrayed has been kind of, I think, my specific unique value proposition that I bring to my clients, because I think that everyone kind of gets to the end result, I think, similarly, but I think my process has been really great, and I find that it's pretty successful. So
Anybody have any questions for Josh?
Josh,
yes,
I just want to, do you know, this is Patricia, do you know Debbie Dorr by any chance?
I don't think so.
She designs jewelry for,
Okay.
and she is here in town. And she is a fabulous person. I don't know why I thought of her when I saw you speaking, but she's got a lot of contacts too, and in New York, in the football industry, some big, so Debbie Dorr, and you can check her out, or I can send you information, however you'd like to have it. But
yeah, I mean, I mean, one of the things that I also really love about Nashville is, like, I think meeting people and being able to connect with people is I find actually easier than in any other market that I've ever been in. So yes, I'm always open to connecting and meeting and collaborating for sure.
should I send it to her link? I'll talk
Yes.
to her first, but I know she'll be very interested in
Yeah,
meeting.
definitely. I can at the end, I can give you guys all of my social media handles and my websites and my email, and I would love to connect in some capacity.
She can connect you a lot outside of Nashville too. That brings you back to Nashville. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Josh, I'm curious, as far as, there's a lot of different body types and shapes and sizes. I guess you're trained to know what probably styles and patterns look best on different people's body types.
Yes, ma'am. And it's, there's things that you can learn, and things that are like more that come naturally. And I think that, and when it comes to that aspect, it's definitely something that is learned. And for me, like when I meet with a client, I kind of have three rules. Well, four, but three main rules. The first one is, if you don't like it and you don't love it, don't get it. Because if you don't like it and you don't love it, for me, I think, yes, the garments are very important, but the confidence that those garments bring is exponential. And so if you don't like something, whether that is, the shape of it or the color or the pattern, like at the end of the day, like it's not worth the money to spend on wearing it. Because I think, for me at least, I have found that, like, it may work, but if the person is not comfortable in it, and whether that's, I have clients who don't like to show their arms. I have clients who don't like to show their legs, who we have to you wear a specific type of dress because they want to cover their stomach, or there's definitely different things that you kind of just you learn from building that relationship with them. And then also you can learn, oh, like I can push her or him in this way that I, again, that's why I'm there. I'm there to take what they have and not just like provide that, but like take that to the next level. And so that's my first rule is if you don't like it, you don't love it, don't get it.
Yeah.
My second rule, and this is probably as important, but you have to try it on. I don't care how it looks on the model. I don't care how it looks on the rack. I don't care how it looks on the mannequin. Like you just said, everybody's body type is different, from like breast size to hips to legs to lengths of the legs to how long their torso is, how short their torso is. And so for me, I think that's another extremely important thing is like having to try that on, because again, and I know it's difficult nowadays because a lot of the fitting rooms are closed, but like go home, try it on, like, pair it with a jacket that you love or whatnot, and see how it works within your wardrobe. Because for me, fit is the most important thing, I think, after confidence, because it's like, if it doesn't fit right, again, I think that speaks to the confidence. Like you'll be messing with it all day, or you'll be pulling it up or pushing it down. So I think that's extremely, extremely important. And then the third one is I will strive, again, still to keep you comfortable, but to push you outside your comfort zone at least a little bit, whether that is pattern or color or fit, to try something. Because again, I think a lot of times we get into our heads of like, oh, I don't look good in yellow, or I don't love this cut of jean, or whatever it may be. But sometimes you surprise yourself. Sometimes there's something that like somebody on the outside sees for you. And that's kind of like what I strive to do. Again, I'm not trying to like change somebody, because I think that like that's not my job. My job is to take who they are and like make that the best them possible. And then my fourth rule is you should listen to me because you hired me. I think Valerie, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. Everybody knows I'm at this place with my film. We're raising our seed money right now, and so I don't have the job yet. But you said you were becoming interested in doing film. My film's a sci-fi fantasy musical.
Oh,
it's a musical.
Ooh, love that.
And it's getting some real nice interest. Anyway, the characters are just people from a little town, kind of. I think of Tennessee a lot. It's a small town on the flatlands, and or up the grade a little bit. Anyway, and the main character dies early in the film in a car crash, and she comes back as a superhero, and because she never got to say goodbye, and she is worthy of this, so she gets to come back, and there's all that about it. And it's very fanciful, and we have these alien characters who dress in human clothes and try to be human, and they look human, but they really don't have any of the right moves or the right language. Is kind of funny. They can't compete against the people. Then they get mad and they decide they're going to tear the town down, and it's all that. Anyway, the clothing side of that, you don't want to tell a cast just bring what you wear. You really do want to have them dressed. And
Sure.
It's a new world for me to talk to someone about film dressing as opposed to stage dressing. So
Definitely.
I would like to keep you on my list for when I get ready.
I would absolutely love that. Seriously, I find that like the way that I think is the way that because I have friends who do film and television. I feel like we think very similarly. So I feel like it would be a pretty easy transition, especially because I do a lot of commercial, like, and that tends to be commercials. And so I feel like there's a lot of that type of thought process within like creating characters, even though it's a very, very, very small amount of it. So I would, please, seriously. Like I said, I'll give you guys all my information, and then I can even have Linda email it out so that you guys have that. But yeah, I'm seriously, I would absolutely. That sounds.
I want someone who will make it fun to look at these people, and it's just
No, for sure.
It's important.
I love that.
you know, somebody younger, much younger is, I think, what might fit best. So when how old are you?
I'm 33 actually in a couple days.
Well,
And
congratulations.
yeah, in
You
8
made it-
days I'll
You
be.
made
I'll
it
be
to the other side of the hill. Go for it. All right. Anyway,
I think I saw Donna. Did you have a hand up?
Yeah, I did.
Donna, question.
Quickie question, I guess. I know there's some people on this call who are working on period movies. What are your ideas about that? Or do you have the kind of expertise that could properly dress a period movie?
Victorian.
Victorian is definitely one of the more harder ones, especially now that we had one of our biggest like costumers closed down over COVID. But I have found that a lot of theater companies will still have a lot of these costumes in their archives. And so I've actually done a couple of Victorian era photo shoots, and I've pulled some stuff from theaters when, oh my gosh, I'm blank, Performance Studios was open. I pulled a lot from them. I've also pulled a couple of different things from like different parts of the country. Like there's some companies in Atlanta, there's some companies in Chicago who are both fairly close and are also very open, especially nowadays, to sending things. It also just depends specifically on if you're doing 70s, because like right now 70s is actually come back and you can find a lot of things in store, which is not your typical. Actually just did last week a 70s Gucci dinner party photo shoot, and actually everything that I pulled was like brand new. And so it really just depends. Like, I mean, I definitely think Victorian era, you most likely won't find anything in stores. But it also depends on like what you're looking for, because I was able to find some, of those like flowier, blousier tops and things like that from some like local retailers. And also I have found, especially for Victorian, buying larger sizes in women's clothing and putting it on men, like especially like those blousier tops, has actually been really, really actually fit very, very well. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm like an equal opportunity shopper. So like, if I have something that's like more period piece, like I go to all the vintage shops, I go to all the theater stores, I go to all of the like the Goodwills around, depending on if it's like, an 80s or 90s type of piece. But it is difficult, especially since Performance closed. That was a big hit, I think, for those period pieces, because I did a full 70s like reenactment documentary thing 2 years ago, and pretty much all the pieces were pulled from Performance. So I'm even trying to like figure out and scramble when I have these jobs come up of like, where can I find this and where can I get that? But it's always, I mean, I feel like my job's always a hustle. I think you guys will all understand that, of like, you give me something you need and I'll try to find it. One thing I will say also, independent on, it is hit or miss, but I've actually even found some success sometimes. It's not always, sometimes, with actually some Amazon purchases for Victorian era dresses. I read the reviews. I try to, if they have photos, I look at them all. But you can find some things every once in a while there as well.
As I was researching online, then I started getting these ads for companies, and that's what they do. And so they've made some really beautiful and they sell them for quite a difference in range. I mean, from like $150 to $200 to $1,500.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
All gowns, all that.
Yeah.
But it's, it's like when you go to shop for a mattress and then you start getting all the mattress ads on your
Right.
feed, right?
That's
So
right.
I've been getting a lot of that.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I
so-
wanted to mention that all of the schools, we have around 17 schools in Tennessee that work with film and television. And also most full-fledged universities have a drama department. And in those drama departments, they have a costume bank, as well as Opera San Jose, as Opera Nashville, Opera anywhere. And you can borrow or rent those costumes from the costume departments at the universities and at the opera or
Right.
or Nashville rep or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because theater departments have a big range because they do so
Right.
many.
And I do find that they are very, very open to that when I do reach out to them, because 9 times out of 10, they're just sitting in their archives. If they're working on, I don't know, like Grease, like they're not gonna need anything from like their Beauty and the Beast or like any of those types of Victorian era stuff. And so like yes, please take it. It's just sitting here.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that once with this.
Any other questions from anybody? Samantha, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, when do you like to be pulled into, whatever you're working on? Do you like to be pulled in at the start so you get like the full view of everything, or do you really enjoy the challenge of, coming in when you guys are close to a shoot and just trying to get everything, sorted in a shorter amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I really do love the creative process. I also, other than styling, I also do creative direction for videos and photo shoots as well. And so I think a lot of times, because I've built those relationships with the photo and videographers that I work with and the different people that I produce with, I find that I really am able to even speak in beyond the styling of things. And I'm able to kind of like sometimes speak into like, hey, I think that this hair and makeup look would also really go well with this character. Or I really do love to kind of be pulled in as soon as possible, because I think for me, that's I find that I'm a creative being, and so I love to, if somebody asks my opinion on something, I love to like speak into those things. And I also think, I actually tend to be in like the glam side of things, like whether it is like hair and makeup or what, I do find that I tend to be the person like people come to, like, so what's this character? Who's this character? Like
give me more
um,
information so I can
what-
fully envision
yeah,
what they want.
and so I find, because I mean I have a pretty extensive background in different roles in like productions. Like I've been a producer, I've been like a stylist, I've done creative direction and art direction, I've done props, because I think within the styling world, you kind of have that understanding of things. So like I've done set styling, I've done prop styling, I've done products and different things like that. And so you're able, just your mind kind of is like, oh, like what's our next shot? How do we like what are we setting up for, like, and on our side of the glam team of like, what is that next shot? Like who needs to get ready now? Is that what's the time frame of setting up lights so that we know that we'll have everything done by the time that you guys are ready for the talent. And so I find that like my mind is able to, like, if I am brought in earlier, I'm able to like be able to speak into those things that like in our like glam team. So yes, I do
Thank you.
prefer earlier.
Yeah, thank you so much. I wanted to tell you that it's exciting to hear you say that you've reinvented yourself along the way, because I think all of us need to do that sometimes. You know, and it's been a wonderful experience. I did record this so we can publicize it and put it out for you. I'm sorry that we didn't have the 40 people that I thought we were going to have, but
All
you
good.
got some of the crop. You got some of the cream of the crop here, and these are the movers and the shakers within our organization that are out there doing things, writing films and working with the Screen Actors Guild, as well as the music industry. Donna's big background is music and music videos and all that. So, but I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here today. And if you will, you either can put it on the chat, or you can send it in an email to me, and I'll get it out to everybody, your contact information.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you never know. And a lot of our filmmakers are looking for stylists, so that'll be great. And
It would
you're
be
just
my honor and
charmer.
pleasure.
And I'll tell you, he sent me a thing, and he picked this scarf that I've got that I've had forever and a day. Anyway, and he put that on me in one scene. And then in another scene, I had on another jacket, and I thought that scarf doesn't match that jacket. But sure enough, it looked great. So there you go. That's pushing you a little bit. See?
Exactly.
Pushing me a little bit with that stupid scarf. But anyway, I love you and thank you so much. And like I
Of
said,
course.
when we get live meetings again, we'll ask you back, and
love that.
we would really welcome that. So thank you so much. Any other questions before we wind it up, girls?
I want to ask one question on behalf of Tahira.
Yeah.
Tahira is in Alabama. Do
Yes.
you go beyond Tennessee if she's doing a project, because she is a producer? Could you service her in Birmingham, Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, I have clients all the way down to Miami, Florida, New York. I fly out to LA. I mean, I haven't this past year, but I usually like 6 to 7 times, if not more. And yeah, I mean, it's just let's sit down, let's chat, like what you're looking for, what you're needing. I have like way too many gigantic suitcases that I just throw clothes in, and I had actually this past year I like I felt weird about it, but I purchased a transit van. But I was like, you know what? Like I need to do this for my business. And so like, I mean, I've taken that thing literally all over the country, full of clothes. So yeah, I'm a mobile man. So if you need me, I'll drive down to Birmingham.
Aw, thank you for asking on my behalf. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, seriously, like I really, this is what I love to do. And as much as I can do it, wherever I can do it, yeah. So I just want to thank you guys so much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure. Like I said, I love connecting with people. It's one of my favorite things to do. So if you guys have a project coming up, big, small, in between, please keep me in mind. Like I said, I'll send Linda all my information from my social handles to my email and my website. So please reach out for any projects. But yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you, Josh. You're just
Of course.
wonderful.
Thank you,
I'm going to
ladies.
go to the sound review, and I want to thank all of you for being here today. And we're going to keep up these kind of Zoom things through the end of the month. Next will be Joe Leshy, who's a voiceover expert and teaches you to learn how to use your voice in some unusual ways. So now we're going to know how to dress and how to use our voice. So there you go. So anyway, everybody get excited about the bills that have passed and what it means to all of us, because it's going to mean jobs. And Valerie, we wish you the best of luck. And
Right.
Pam, I
Bye-bye.
know your series is gonna just take off and be great. And I love you all. And Tahara,
you.
you are brilliant and always do so many exciting things. And
Oh,
we're just proud of all of you. And I did record this, so I'll have Donna make sure that it's up and running for everybody. So have a great day and
thank
have
you.
a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Nice to
Bye,
meet you,
guys.
Josh.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.